Sleeper 2 Starward Vector will release in early 2025. Yes, chef. New game. Let's do it. Who do I want to be this time? Got the extractor, operator, machinist. What was I in Citizen Sleeper 1? I think I was an operator. Maybe I'll try out machinist this time around. Or machinist, depending on who you're asking. Shame publishers don't care about preserving physical copies of games, so it'll be hard to fill out the shelves. Yeah, I was thinking more along lines, Drex, of having mock game cases that represent the titles, and then you would have to give them a digital version if there was no physical version. But I love physical copies. One of the things that saddened me is this day is like old physical carts. You have the console, you have the cart, you play the game. Simple as that. But these days, even having the physical version of a game doesn't really guarantee that you can play it whenever you want to. Sometimes you have to have internet access for the game to be registered to play on the console. Sometimes it has to update to the latest version to match your console in order to be played no matter what. And so even that worries me, that you have your physical copy of a game, you have the disc, and in the future, depending which console you have and what version of it, you put it in and it's like, oh, you can't play this. Okay, I'll connect and update it. Oh, that server's down. You can never play this game. And that's frustrating to me. And I can grab Devil May Cry 3 on PlayStation 2, pop that bad boy, and play it right away. But that's how they get you. Machinist sleepers are built to repair and modify automated systems used in corporate resource extraction. Machinists are very skilled engineers, but their isolated work means they often struggle with tasks requiring a direct approach or social engagement. Their focus skill allows them to focus on a single task and boost their dice to excel in it. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. What do you think, Reem? Is that you? Operator sleepers are built to work with drones and remote machines over local networks to perform a corporate source extraction from a distance. Operators have expertise in working with interfaces and computer systems, but are more physically fragile than other sleepers. Their reboot skill allows them to hack their own systems to reroll dice, a risky but potential powerful move. Their assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Your anything ranged keep you far away. You're so good. Extractors are confident, self-sufficient, high level of endurance, but they're dumb as rocks. Let's go with the machinist. In the moment before waking, the dark space before conscious thought, you struggle to find the pieces of yourself. Usually, these pieces come with a particular cadence, each appearing sequentially, like the boot process of an old terminal. First, your body. Artificial, compromised, but relaying sense data all the same. Then is context. The breeze of air filtration, the soft contact of your birth in zero G. Then emotion. Coming into focus, coming into your body. Bringing with it that first instinct, the one that has framed your past 100 cycles. Fear. We're currently in the unknown, a vast and dark interior, hell yeah. But that familiar sequence does not arrive. Instead, you are unmoored in space, your body distant, your context silent, even your emotions somehow obscured and scattered. Among all that disarray, only one familiar thing arrives: the fear. It is a scrambled panic fear. The drowning fear, the falling fear, the fear that makes you reach desperately for any stable point. It is the fear that tells you something is wrong. Something is very wrong with you. Wake up, sleeper, the voice is whispered in your ear. An act that makes you suddenly aware of your head, pulsing in pain, your body rigid with tension. Sleeper. Familiar name. A mind copied, emulated. A body built, implanted. One person sleeping until their debt is worked away. Their double being made to work, to be consumed, and eventually to be destroyed. A proxy. An emulation. A sleeper. That is what you are. Can you all imagine that? A future capitalistic society that is so ingrained on producing dollars for a corporation or a fancy that even in death, really, or in isolation, you can't escape your debts? Like, no, we're just gonna take your brain, we're gonna copy it, and we're gonna put it in this body that we've made so you can work away your debt. Incredible. Many things are wrong with me. Well, one, nothing's wrong with you, Reem. And two, nothing's wrong with you. Three, nothing's wrong with you. But you escaped. You remember that now. Broke free of your corporate creators, SNARP, in search of a future. You cannot remember the details of your escape, but you know the fear has been with you ever since you did. All of a sudden, you remember you have eyes, and your eyes flicker open. Pale eyes and a pale face. Lane. The name comes with its own specific sensation of fear, one you recoil from instinctively. Sorry to interrupt, a sharp smirk, but this ends here. Oh, Lane. Relentless, cruel, and on your trail. Nice tattoo. You search your mind for more than a name. Is this how you reward me for my generosity? Lane is leaning over your horizontal floating body, looking down into your eyes. I took you in, protected you, gave you a purpose. You try to look away, to the corners of your vision to find something you understand. Your body does not respond. But I suppose that wasn't enough. He reaches into the pocket of his jacket and retrieves a small vial. This wasn't enough? The vial glitters. The object you know and have known for a long time. Stabilizer. The drug that keeps your artificial body, your emulated mind, from inevitable decay. The only balm for your planned obsolescence. The liquid roiling in the vial fills you with disgust. God complex for sure. Lane pockets the vial, but it would be wasted on you now. After what you have done to this body of yours, he looks at you with a palpable disgust. Lane's eyes scan your body, and as they do, you become aware of the wires and tubes attached to you. Those that were meant to free you from your dependence, from the stabilizer and the control it grants Lane. They are free, you piece of shit. They don't need you anymore. The voice comes from somewhere behind Lane's head. It is a voice you know, but when you search your mind to try to understand why, you find only dizzying darkness. Shut him up, Lane barks the command, and you hear the sounds of impact, of pain from somewhere else in the room. You try to move your limbs again, and this time you feel a flicker, the twitch of a finger. You feel the extension and compression of synthetic muscle. Free, are you? Lane smirks. You were free when I disabled your tracker, when I gave you the stabilizer you needed. He scans your body with angry eyes. Now you aren't free. You are just broken. I had such big plans for you, Sleeper. I invested in you. Lane grips your arm hard and you feel a jolt of reaction. You will the arm to move, but you have ruined all that. Lane speaks louder over the sound of the struggle behind him. I will try to preserve your body, of course. I have my own uses for it, but your emulation? You feel one of his hands searching behind your head. He finds and grips the thick cable running into the port at the base of your skull. I will burn that out. Oh no. He's going to ruin our mind brain, so we can't occupy anybody. This is the end of our existence. Lane jerks forward, slamming across your body, then spinning away out of sight. You feel yourself rolling, the cables plugged into you looping and wrapping around your limbs. Then, you feel hands steadying you, pulling cables. You glance around wildly and see someone diligently unplugging you. You meet his eyes. Your mysterious savior. Occupy D's, grow up. Also very funny. Hey! He waves a hand in your dazed face. We need to move. Lane won't be out for long. He unlooks a cable from around your wrist. Hey, Sleeper, help me out here. He blinks slowly. Do you know this person? He leans over you and you feel his hands on the connector, flicking switches, releasing locks. Come on, come on, come on! He tucks the connector clear and pulls you up. You see the room you are in for the first time, filled with tech and terminals, wires waving everywhere, all lit by big windows looking out on an impossibly bright, screen-filled street beyond. In the corner, you see the dark shape of a floating body surrounded by a glittering constellation of crimson baubles. Is that blood? I hope not at this pace, Reem. Move! You are wrestled and shoved towards the door, which slides open in front of you, and then you are out in all that brightness, all that movement, gliding hard towards some unknown destination. You come to a stop in a dark alley. The one who guided you here pausing, catching his breath. He doubles over beside a massive life support unit that sends a lukewarm breeze across your skin. You stare at him, trying to recall anything about him. You notice his tattered jacket, his lightweight clothes. You remember this station runs hot. Something about the power that flows through the place. He looks up and meets your eye. What's going on, Sleeper? He wipes sweat from his forehead and it floats away in a swarm of spears. Talk to me. Reem, what do we say? Which option? Who are you? Who was that? Or where are we? What matters the most to you? And then after that, we'll diligently unplug Noramash. Where are we? Somewhere on the Starward side. Not too far from the docks, I hope. You see a concerned frown cross his face. That's not what you meant, is it? He comes closer, eyeing you carefully. What station are we on? He narrows his eyes, waits for the answer. You close your eyes, trying to recall. You force your way through the dark to the image of a station, no, a city, growing in the back of a vast set of hexagonal solar cells, shadowed by them. You open your eyes. Dark side. The word leaves your mouth like an exhale, an instinct. Before you heard yourself sound it out, you didn't know it was there. He sighs. And me, who am I? You see something like fear in his eyes, panic perhaps. You stare hard at his face. The slight upturn of his mouth, the intensity of his stare. Nothing come. He closes his eyes and drops his head, putting a hand to his temple. The reboot. He's speaking quietly to himself. Lane interrupted the process and... He lifts his head and stares at you. Reem, we need to keep going. We need to leave. He turns and kicks off down the alley. Come on, the rig can't be far. As you are led through the passages and serviceways of the station, you try to recall your life here. The texture, the temperature of Darkside feels familiar, but you struggle to pin specific memories to it. Focusing hard, you recall waking up in these passages cycle after cycle, the rhythms of the station flowing over you along with the crowds. You recall desperation and the slow decay of your body that caused it. Then Lane, those pale eyes, offering you a glittering vial. Stabilizer. The promise of supplying more for your work, a deal he locked you into like a cage. There, your memory fails you, but in the dark beyond that moment, the residue of panic, of fear remains. You were Lane's prisoner, Lane's plaything. You shudder in the cold passage. You want a glittering vial that sounds pretty? Well, it's what you need to make sure you can keep up with the upkeep of having your mind transplanted into a body that isn't your own. Hold. Your guide holds up a hand, and you stop your glide using the wall. Ahead, you see the tunnels open up into a wide open bay, with a few doors leading to cylindrical tunnels. The docks. They're watching the rig. He nods towards the docks. You see one of the doors has a couple of figures flanking it. Flanking it. One covered in ornate tattoos, the other with bright silver implants along their cheekbones. Utsubo. Lane's guys. He looks at you and shakes his head in frustration. All this is not coming back to you, is it? He places a hand on his chest. I'm Seraphin, alright? He looks pained when he speaks. Lane? He was our captor. Both of us. We did this so we could escape. We needed to reboot you to break your dependence on Stabilizer. He pauses. You know what that is, right? Reem nods meekly. If you want to put breast implants in your cheekbones, I won't stop you. But Lane interrupted me back there. The reboot didn't complete, and we can still make this work. He looks back at the docks. I'll lead them away. You get the docking bridge open. If we make it to the rig, I know how to get us in. Got that? He searches your face for a sign of recognition. What's the rig? Seraphin looks annoyed. A ship. Our ship. Or at least it soon will be. Lane assigned it to us when we were on jobs for him. Get that door open. He pats you on the shoulder, which is now your breast implanted cheekbone. I know you can do this. I know you can do this. Seraphin kicks off hard and glides into the docks. Over here, shitheads, he bellows to the guards that he barrels through. They immediately push off from the wall, giving chase. You wait a breath, then glide across to the door they were guarding. You look, already panicked, at the tightly sealed door, its control panel locked out. You hear a shout from somewhere nearby. You need to get it open. Tutorial. During scenes, you may encounter skill checks where you can perform certain actions using your skills. Like the dice actions you will encounter later, skill checks can have a positive, neutral, or negative outcome. The better the rating of your skill, the more likely you will succeed on a check. The odds of success are displayed when you select the check. You can see more info in the guys section of the pause menu. You're welcome, Reem. I can hack the door, which has a 25% chance for a positive outcome, a 25% chance for a negative outcome, or a 50% chance for a neutral outcome. Or I can break the seal, which has a 50% chance for positive, 50% neutral, 5% pleasure, 50% pain. I have no reason to hack the door. I'm an engineer. I'm gonna break the seal. Positive outcome. No stress. You shift to the central access panel and wrench it open. It only takes a moment to understand the mechanism, and you reach in and snap the locking access, the door popping open with a hiss. Go, go! Seraphim flies past you through the doorway into the docking tunnel. You turn to see the two guards approaching fast across the docks and quickly glide after Seraphim. Seraphim is already at the rig's door inputting an entry code. The rig's doors scissor open and you both rush inside. Quickly! Seraphim grabs you by the arm and drags you up to the cockpit, the ship's layout hazy in your mind. He dumps you in a flight seat and straps himself into his own. You see him tap a series of buttons as he does, talking to himself. Come on, come on. The rig's drive rumbles into life and Seraphim slams a button on the console. You feel the force of the ship's acceleration as it pulls away. We did it, we escaped. 100% Okaydrian, 100% in the game? Maybe. Haxers? Yes. Alright, Scott Steiner. I'm not normal. Maple is here. Hello, Maple. I love you and I would do anything for you. As the ship glides into place on the connecting bridge, its automatic systems nudged there by the port's docking protocols, you feel a sense of relief. Seraphim burned hard out of Dirkside, and you dropped in and out of consciousness in your seat as the rig made its way across the belt. But now, with open space between you and Lane, you feel fresher, more awake. Seraphim breaks the silence. Whew. We're good, Sleeper. His eyes don't leave the monitor, and you realize this part of your escape is routine for him. You and he must have docked this ship countless times in your work for Lane. Problem is, you don't remember any of them. We made it, he whispers, closing his eyes and letting out a sigh. I feel like a 1980s movie moment would be saying, we certainly did. So I'm just going to stay silent. He shakes his head and then unclips from the pilot's seat. Seraphim reaches up, flicking through a set of switches in a practiced fashion, completing the shutdown. You watch, a little frustrated with your own uselessness. Running the rig, you realize, is just another thing you forgot. A clunk that runs through the walls of the ship is followed by a short percussive alarm tone from the pilot's console. Docking complete. Seraphim kicks off from his seat, twisting as he glides past you towards the back of the cockpit. His hands find the rails on either side of the door and he pauses, facing into the corridor beyond. He turns back to you, backlit in cold cyan. We need a plan. He glances around. Lane's not gonna let us slip away quietly, he sighs. We need to talk. Seraphim furrows his brow. Not now, Sleeper. We need to forget. He flinches, the words coming out wrong. We need to focus on something other than... He pauses again, unsure. Us. He sighs. We need to survive this thing first. Then, maybe we talk. So, our mind was put into a body to work off our debts, using a drug to keep our mind alive in that body. We escaped our debtor. We escaped our need for the drug. We inhabit this body. We escape with no memory of our past, of the work we did for Lane, or memory of Seraphim and our connection with them, or how to pilot this cockpit, the ship called the Rig. We escaped, and now we're trying to find some sort of stabilization, our feet beneath us, to say, what is all this? And Seraphim says, not right now. We'll talk later. Is that fine by us? Or that isn't fair? How do we feel about that? Yeah, Pit Kiss, Rosebud. Ooh, the silent treatment, right? Silence offers passive aggressiveness, misunderstanding, temperament. I kind of want to address it and say that isn't fair, but I feel like we'll just be talking in circles. That isn't fair, and they'll say something like, I'll tell you what's not fair, or that's the way it's got to be. Fine by me is dismissive and isn't a good start to whatever remembrance of memory we have. So I'm with you. Stay silent. We have bought ourselves some time. He glances through the cockpit window at the blinking lights of the station. You may not remember Hexport, but I do. And there's plenty of opportunities here for us, if we can keep our heads down. He turns back to the corridor. That's what we'll do. He pushes off and glides towards the main lock, and you follow, pulling yourself along, hand over hand in 0G. By the way, 0G means zero gravity. We already emptied the tank on this thing. He slaps a hand against the ship's insides. So, we need to refuel, and that won't be cheap. But if you and I know one thing, Sleeper, it's how to work. I'm gonna get myself reacquainted, see if I can turn up any old connections, people that might throw us an easy contract. You, he glances back over his shoulder, you keep out of trouble. I can handle myself. I'm going to. Low profile. Got it. Seraphin stops the airlock. Stopping the reboot halfway through, he pulls a worn crew jacket from the locker and starts putting it on. We don't know what that did to you. He jams an arm into his sleeve. I don't want you passing out and he stops. Don't baby me. I'll be fine. Seraphin drops his head, swearing to himself. He grabs another crew jacket and thrusts it at you. Just put the damn hood up, will you? You take it and slip it on. Stay silent. Seraphin stabs the button to open the lock. The inner door hisses open. And Seraphin glides through. Wait for a little bit, then leave. Anyone looking for us will be looking for two people traveling together. He looks at you in your worn crew jacket and limited disguise for what is clearly a sleeper. We meet back here later. Any trouble? Same thing. Meet here. He takes another look at your disguise and shakes his head. This is a shitty idea. He gives you one last look. Maybe find yourself something to eat. Suddenly you recognize Seraphin's instinct to look after you. A flash of a relationship now lost to the reboot. Catch! Seraphin throws a handful of something towards you. You manage to grab the projectiles, and when you open your hand, you see a stack of cryo-chits. Those should get you some food. We'll need some more for fuel and supplies, he grimaces. That means odd jobs in the stations for both of us. Seraphin kicks off and glides down the docking bridge. Don't go too far, alright? He shouts as he leaves. Take it slow. And with that, he is gone, leaving the connecting bridge and heading into the docking concourse of Hexport. You wait for a moment in silence. Think about Seraphin, think about Lane, make a plan. Make a plan. You try to think ahead to what might be coming. You'll need work, that's the first step, but what then? Lane will be coming eventually, so the sooner you can put some distance between you and Hexport, the better. So that's the plan. Rest, resupply, and run. You shake the thoughts from your head and pull the jacket tight. Let's see what Hexport has to offer. You kick off and glide into the port. Now it's time to play Citizen Sleeper. Welcome to Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector. The game runs in cycles, during which you can perform actions with your dice, use cryo to buy food, fuel, supplies, and items, progress clocks towards new scenes and events. You can review tutorials at any time in the guide section of the pause menu. Use the mouse wheel to scroll your view. Select locations with left click, right click to leave. You said I was putting you to sleep, Reem. Good. Not negative, by the way. Good positive. There's the Hexport exchange for goods. There's my refuge in the belt, the rig. We gotta meet back there later on. There's the Hexport docks. The rig is your ship and home on the starboard belt. While the rig is docked at a hub, there are multiple areas you can visit. Bunks. Use dice to reduce stress. The galley. Use supplies to regain energy. Other locations will unlock as you play. While the rig is in dock at a hub, your crew will also help to gather resources to contribute to the upkeep of the ship. You can choose which resources they should focus on in the crew action menu to the left. They have a random chance of acquiring it at the beginning of the following cycle. You can quickly visit and leave the rig with right click. This clock is a cycle clock. It will progress towards an event each cycle. Pay attention to these clocks. They can have significant effects. Ooh. So whenever this completes, Lane will have caught up to us. Not great. In Citizen Sleeper 2, you perform actions by assigning action dice to them. The higher the dice you assign, the more likely you will succeed at an action. But your dice will be modified by your skill. Your skill modifier for the action is displayed on the right and will reduce or increase the value of the dice assigned to the action. Like skill checks, dice actions have 3 outcomes: positive, negative, and neutral. Each action is also rated safe, risky, and dangerous based on the outcomes it has. The more dangerous an action is, the more significant both its rewards and consequences are. For more information on dice actions, check the guide. To assign a dice or item, click and drag it to the action of your choice, then click Start Action. So here I can either trade scrap. I can try to impress the brokers. The data brokers are the heart of the exchange. They show off their knowledge by discussing decryption, maybe if you can talk the talk. And the rules of the exchange. The exchange buzzes with the conversation of commerce. This is a place where contracts are found. You just need to look. Nice job, Sam, man. I'm glad you're enjoying that game. Skill required. What if I put this right here? 50% chance for a positive, 50% for a neutral. Honestly, I'll take that. What if I use 2 dice? Not great. But over here. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's trade scrap. This music is really good, by the way. Do you hear it? How it's slowly creeping up. Not bad. You just progress the clock. Clocks track your progress towards both positive and negative events and can be filled by performing tasks. right there. Hell yeah. I don't want to spend it all yet. Let's go to the Hexport docks too. Oh, what's over here? A trading market just opened up. I can buy supplies. I can fill supplies. Buy fuel, fill fuel. Oh, I don't have enough cryo to fill our fuel up all the way. Jesus. Supplies are not cheap. Wow. I got F fuel. I got un fuel. Some more supplies too while we're at it. Nice. Got some supplies. I won't be quite as hungry. I'm feeling it now, Mr. Krabs. You know what? I never watched SpongeBob SquarePants, so I missed out on a generation worth of quotes, memes, and moments. You know what I mean? Everything I know about SpongeBob SquarePants I've learned from social media. What's happening up here? I can chat to the crews. There are plenty of crews milling around the docks moving cargo. Could be a good source of information. Or I can explore the docks. Hexport's docks are a dizzying mess of braided cables and flickering signage filled with busy spacers. Exploring is both thrilling and intimidating. Those will help me fill up connections right there. Oof. Oof. I could explore the docks, but it's dangerous. Let's do it. I have a 75% chance of having a favorable outcome, either positive or neutral. 3/4 is not a bad chance, right? Not bad. New location discovered. It was a good show. Me neither. I can't stand his voice. SpongeBob's voice. Yeah, maybe if you were younger, it wouldn't bother you as much. But I feel like as an adult, I'm not a big fan of the SpongeBob voice. I'm sure the voice the voice actor is talented and great, and that's cool. But it's just not for me. You watched a good amount of it years ago. Really? So in your adulthood life. Well, that's the thing, Culinary. I'm sure they are a national treasure. I just don't like the SpongeBob voice. But I have nothing against the voice talent at all. The talent, I have no beef at all. Ren and 10? Ugh. Let's leave here and go to the new location. What else we unlock? Ah, the bins. A chaotic dockside bar. Here you can eat in exchange for cryo. Eating gives you energy and stops you from starving. Different food gives different amount of energy. Okay, well, I don't want to starve, so. Play Star and Stoker. SNS is a spacer gambling game played with custom magnetic dice. Chits are stashed in symbol marked cans and winning is ruthlessly luck-based. My kind of game. You like the games? The SpongeBob games? Really? Quaffo, do you still watch SpongeBob? Buy a Bins Fry. A plastic bag of flash-fried salt-flecked tubers. The Bins Fry brings spacers back to the scattered tables, the bar, cycle after cycle. Oh, I'll take some of those, please. Mmm, delicious. Should I eat cookies? It depends. Are they Bins cookies? You squeeze your bag and crunch a handful of crisp and greasy radishes and potatoes. Not bad at all. Yeah, let's gamble. We got 5 cryo. We got money. I love money. Let's go back to the docks. Let's go back here, actually, the exchange. I want to find out the rules of the exchange. I'm going to use my 2 dice right here, so I can save my 4 dice. Let's trade some scrap. Not bad. Rules. Hexport Canteen. Common Trade Hall Canteen. Eat at the canteen. 13 cryo. Ooh, I don't have 13 cryo. F word. I have 1 dice roll left, too. Your money, my money, yes. I should make some radish mashed potatoes. What's stopping you? I'm really happy that I spent all of our money that he gave me on day number 1. But I bought some supplies and some fuel, so he can't be that mad at me, right?
I'm gonna be real here. I love money, right? I love it. Any kind of money. Your money, my money, I love it.
Yeah, Caden K420, you got it right. Any kind of money.
I'm gonna be real here. I love money, right? I love it. Any kind of money. Your money, my money, I love it.
John knows. Are radishes good boiled? I have no idea. I've never had a boiled radish. Reem, did you eat your cookies? Yes or no? You're a mod's mod, Hit Kiss, you know what I mean? You're a mod's mod. Kind of mod that Reem herself told me she looks up to.
I'm gonna be real here. I love money, right? I love it. Any kind of money. Your money, my money, I love it.
Yeah, Krieger, I mean, honestly, you get it. You get it. I mean, I love money. Any kind of money. Your money. My money. I love it. You know what I mean? To be fair, he did tell us he was going to be real right then, right? He said, I'm going to be real right now. And there was no lie told. Bro was real. I want to explore the docks. I don't think so. Oh god, yeah, let's explore the docks. Let's explore the docks. Good luck. Nice, I'm a hexport expert. I've used all of my dice for this cycle. I need to end the cycle at your ship, the rig, to rest and re-roll them. Cool. Business as usual. I like this game a lot. It's a very comfy game. And it's low stress with really heavy decisions. Like, this is very chill. This is a very chill, casual game. It's the perfect bedtime game. Thank you, by the way, Krieger, for the popcorn. Thank you, John Rock the Gone, for the popcorn. Thank you, Caden, for the popcorn and the money. New Twitch emote? Yeah, no more Bibliotech Thump. Now we have Big Sad instead. Let's go to the kitchen. Make a meal? Yeah. Well, I'm not starving yet, right? Am I starving? I don't think I am. I'm gonna assume that I'm not. Yeah, it's just end the day. End the cycle. Very Mills Lane. Let's get it on. We're in trouble, sleeper. Seraphin leans into the berth as you're getting out of your bunk. Without further explanation, he disappears down the corridor towards the rear of the ship. You drift out into the passage, pulling up when you close and glide down the length of the ship, the cool air making you shiver. Seraphin is a silhouette silently leading the way. He stops at the far end, diverting through a side door, shooting you a glance as he does. You find Seraphin inside, holding one of a tangle of arm-thick tubes that are waving in the zero-G engine room. You know what these are? Fuel pipes? Seraphin shrugs. Close enough. These are the engine's feed lines. He waves one in the air. And before you ask, no, they are not supposed to be waggling loose. What happened? These must have broken loose when we pushed the ship hard on our way out of Darkside. He looks at the mess. We are lucky the reserve tank is empty. Otherwise, it would have been bad. But, he pushes the pipe to the side. No feed from the reserve tank means the rig's range is limited to the local region only. He thumps the large lumpen housing of the engine. This thing can't take us anywhere far. So we fix it? Seraphin sighs. That's the short of it. Seraphin whacks the engine housing again, harder this time. Just not been our run of luck. He turns and starts gathering the tangled feed lines, his frustration evident in the violence of his movements. We will need a new set of these, that's for sure. He starts forcing them into a crate. So, how about you try to track them down? I'll take a look at things here and see if I can figure out another way to fix the reserve tank. He glances up from his work. From what I've heard on Hexport, Factory Row is the place to find ship fitters. Maybe you can do some recon while I sort this place out? It's on the other end of the station. Wait. Seraphin pauses, seemingly unsure. There's something else. He drops the feed lines and they float, waving in the air like tubular seaweed. I've heard word that Lane's on the hunt, he frowns. A message went out to everywhere in the local radius of Darkside. He's looking for us. I'm not going to say the S word. And we can't leave. Exactly, Seraphin sighs. Which is why we need those feed lines. I'm going to try to work something out. Maybe I can improvise a solution. I don't know. He looks down. I'm no ship fitter. While I do, you go hunting. See what you can turn up, okay? He smiles a weak smile. Now get out of here. You leave the engine room, the clanking sound of Seraphin's cleanup efforts echoing through the ship. Fuel feed lines. That's the next step. Take a deep breath and head out. You have discovered a drive. Drives help you track and choose your objectives in Citizen Sleeper 2. Press the arrow button on the top left to open the drive menu and choose which drive to track. Once a drive is tracked, a yellow mark will be placed above any location that relates to that drive. They come in two types: major, minor. On completion, a major drive rewards 2 upgrade points and a minor one rewards 1. Keep an eye on the drive menu as you progress to see what new opportunities and objectives are available, and track those you want to pursue. Major. Lane is hunting you and Hexport isn't far from Darkside. Refuel, repair, find what you need, and then leave before he finds you. Yeah, or before I find him. I love this music so F-wording much. Sorry for my language. Sorry. Welcome to the character screen. Here you can upgrade and configure your sleeper. On the left, you can upgrade your skills to improve the skill modifier applied to your dice when you undertake an action. To the right, you can upgrade your push, the unique ability of your class. When upgrading your push, only one upgrade at each level can be active at once. You can configure which upgrade is active only while at the hub. I don't think I have any skill points to. Yeah, I have 0 points. F me, right? Okay, I got some cryo at least. That's good. New location discovered. The warehouses. That's a relevant location to my interests. Factory row. I'm gonna go to this canteen and spend our hard-earned money. Eat at the canteen. Most trade halls have a canteen where they prepare their own dishes from the packed supplies they otherwise provide. Wow, +4 energy and only had 2 missing. The Hexport Trade Hall makes fragrant stews sucked through a straw. They are heavy and warming. Freight loading, endure. The warehouses at the Hexport docks supply the industrial operations of the station, meaning they need constant loading and restocking. About this. I'm not built for this, huh? I'm not sure I want to spend my good dice on that or not. Gotta unlock this still. Just do this. 2 dice? May as well be 1 dice. Okay. About this. What over here? Yeah, that's my skill. Oof. This is a danger one, so I gotta use 4 dice. Can't have a bad outcome. Not bad. Data brokers, rig crews, towers of pulsing tech. This place is a maze of glowing glyphs. As you are gliding across the docking concourse, you hear a scuffle. The noise of raised voices cuts through the conversation drifting out of the dockside shops. Glancing down an alley, you see a huddle of figures shouting back and forth. You spot one man in the middle of the group surrounded, pushing the others back as they grab at the bag slung over his shoulder. You don't like the way this looks, but then again, Seraphin told you to keep your head down. I'm gonna cause a distraction. Could wait it out. That'd be smart. Neutral outcome, I'll take it. You look around for something that could break up the fight and see the thick cooling pipes running down the alley wall. You quickly try to understand the system and choose a valve to start spinning. As you do, the system begins to vent in sequence down the alley, violent jets randomly bursting into the air. There's a scramble in the alley and you spot the figure who was being attacked drop down to the alley floor. Then your vision instantly fills with pale liquid as a jet of coolant jumps out nearby, missing you, but sending you spinning in 0G. After a few moments, you manage to steady yourself, and as you do, you see a clear alley, the assailants having fled, with one figure gliding towards you. Suppose you think that was clever, the man gives you a severe look. That's not his voice, is it? It's not. You like to break up fights you didn't start? He laughs. Belt's gonna eat you up. He shifts the large bags on his shoulder, weightless but unwieldy in 0G. How about some thanks? The man's eyebrows shoot up. You think I needed you back there? He clucks. Cluck, cluck, cluck. You're the weirdest one I've met, that's for sure. You watch the man go, and then after a moment he stops and turns back. He rubs his forehead, looking down as he does. What is your deal anyway? He sighs. Maybe you are new here, but Hexport is no place for do-gooders. You needed help. The man smiles. I don't think so. He shakes his head. Bunch of cowards. Idiots, too. Getting beat up over some scrap. Look, let's not hang around, alright? The man pats his chest. I'm Femi. He unshoulders one of the bags and pushes it towards you. Make yourself useful. Let's head. You get the strap of the bag over your shoulder and follow him through the docks, gliding past the concourse towards the connecting bridges. He cuts down a side passage, looking back to check if you are following. Then he stops at a docking bridge connecting to a dull green ship with yellow markings. You look out the viewing window at its odd catamaran-like shape, seemingly built from two separate hulls welded together. Symbol crash, he says, and you assume that's the ship's name. Clever. Femi, you bringing in strays? A young woman, brightly dressed and stretching as she glides, drips into the passage. She glances at you. No offense. Nia. Femi shakes his head. This one, he squeezes your shoulder, helped me fend off some Hexport scum while you were busy sunning yourself. Nia raises an eyebrow. I'm sure you could handle them, big brother. Her glib response hides the flash of concern that passes across her face. You can't tell if Femi noticed. Nia turns to you. Thanks. She smiles sweetly. And I'm sorry for my brother. She shoots him a glance. Just in general. Nia, Femi murmurs. Enough now. He reaches over and takes the bag you were carrying. Nia rolls her eyes at you but stays silent. Factory Row wouldn't take these. Femi hefts the bags. I'm gonna load them back up. Maybe we'll find a use for them. He turns back to you. Thanks for the assist, sleeper, he nods firmly. Not what I expected. He slaps the button for the bridge door and kicks off along the docking bridge on his way to the symbol crash. Nia looks at you with raised eyebrows. I hope my brother was joking. Or did you really help him? I tried. Thank you. She looks back at the ship. My brother needs more help than he admits. What do you mean? She tenses. I don't know if... She smiles a tight smile. I should have said anything. She pauses, thinking. I want to ask you something. She takes a deep breath and then gives you a direct look. What is she building up to? Are you looking for a crew? She looks away. Sorry to be direct, but you seem like, well, if you are on Hexport, maybe you are with the crew. She stops herself. I mean, maybe your crew needs crew. Maybe you are looking? Kinda am. She struggles to hide her smile. Nia looks back at the ship, then at you. Look, I'll be honest. Being on a crew with my brother is nice, but he is suffocating me. She frowns at her own bluntness. I'm not a kid anymore, you know, but he still sees me like one. She shrugs. I want to show him I can handle myself. I need experience. I need to run some contracts. She gives you a determined look. What do you say? I'll think about it. I'm a good salvager, all right. You can use me. She smiles. I can spot things, find gaps, ways in. She folds her arms across her chest. I know what I'm doing. Femi taught me well. She glances back at the ship. Just consider it, all right? Let me prove myself. Suddenly a shout comes from the ship echoing down the passage. Femi. He seems to make both of you nervous. Nia looks in his direction. I should go. She pushes off towards the docking bridge. I'll be waiting. Nia gives you one last glance. She departs, then disappears into the docking bridge, leaving you alone in the passage. New local crew available. I love this game so much, man. This is such a good A-word game. Such a good A-word game. Just like the first one. Just like the first one. It's a lot. It is a lot. I think it can be tough for a stream game because there's so much text to read. It reminds me of trying to stream Disco Elysium before it was re-released with the voice acting. But as a personal game to play on your own time where you don't have to worry about reading it all out loud, this is a perfect game. And I bet it's going to run really well on Steam Deck too. So, lots of opportunities to play it there. Search the row. The factory owners of the row speak mostly in terms of supply and demand, but going door to door might help you find the shifter you need. If I do this enough times, the export factories are picky about who they work with. Trust is a key currency. Bet money. Let's do this. Nice. Okay, I got 1 point for trusted supplier. Not great, but it's something. Sorry, PK. I'll try harder next time. Get a better outcome. You're very excited for it? I know you're excited for it, Shrimp Flats. I like calling you Shrimp Flats. Might make that a new thing. Let's play a game of Star and Stoker. Just risk it all. Give me the most positive outcome possible. Don't do that. Neutral or negative? 5 cryo. What a day. How lucky. Could do warehouse and could do 25, right? Probably the best I can do. Yeah. Let's get some money. Good luck. Oh man, negative outcome at 25%. I guess I was due for one, right? Unfortunate. Let's just do this. Search the row again. Okay, got another point right here. And trust the supplier. Unlocked a new area, the Swift Scrap Soul. I could have went here instead and really made some money. On Forge times 9. Well, I'm out of dice actions, so turning it in for the day. For dice today, we got a 1, 2, 3, 3, and a 4. Not bad. Also, just realized it's 4 a.m. I love this demo. I would not be surprised if I come back to it. Thank you. Good night.